Okay, we're continuing Mesilas Yesharim, Parak 19, elements of Chasidus. Right. So just to summarize, we're talking about Yiras Hashem, right? And we are applying Yiras Hashem in terms of Oifen HaAsiyah, right? It's supposed to change the way you do mitzvahs, right? On the one hand. On the other hand, we're also talking about, that's how it started, that's how it came in, right? And then that was really busha, what we call hachno and busha, right? Lowering yourself, right? Especially anova, expression of anova, fear, as you're doing mitzvahs, right? We discussed that. And then he went into kavod, right? Now his references to kavod is not only with regards to Oifen HaAsiyah, right? Meaning, do I bring the nicest and the choicest, or do I bring whatever, right? Right? Meaning, it also becomes though Asiyah, meaning he covered Shabbos, for example, is that Oifen HaAsiyah, or is that Asiyah, meaning, right? So again, I guess just pointing out that it's not, that he's, there's no clear like mathematical rules over here. I don't fully understand yet why he includes all the things he includes in Chasidus. Meaning, if Chasidus is the point of each chapter is to explain, right, what's the midah is and how it expresses, right? So we saw in Nikias he did a whole global take on different things that maybe were pertinent to the understanding of the midah of Nikias, maybe were not. Similarly, in Chasidus, he seems to be expanding and giving a lot of details, which also I'm not sure if every detail is necessary for us to understand what Chasidus means. Right? It's nice. I'm not sure yet what, again, I don't fully understand what the Chesed was all about. I don't fully understand why this long Arichos of Kavod Shabbos is about. Meaning, is it just, hey, let me give you an opportunity to discuss things that I feel are important? Or is this had to be spoken out with regards to Chasidus, right? That's the question I'm not clear on. Okay. Anyway, so now on Shabbos, so we said, with regards to COVID, the difficult thing that again, as far as I feel like we sort of cracked it last time, right? The appreciation of COVID in terms of Yira versus Ava, right? That was a difficult question, and I think we understood it. The way that we understood is that COVID is an expression of the little me, kind of appreciating the greatness of God. Right? Yes? So the Hidur mitzvah, which is, yes, it's also an expression of love, that I love this mitzvah and I want to do extra, which sounds like ahava, but at the end of the day, we saw once a person internalizes the distance, not the distance so much, but what he said towards the end when he spoke about Shabbos. when we appreciate how Kadosh Baruch Hu didn't have to do anything for us, and he went out of his way and lowered himself, so to speak, to give us this experience. So then the least we could do is pay him back with the most we could do, right? The least we could do is the most we could do, right? So therefore, I guess that aspect of the least we could do is the most we could do becomes then an expression of Yira, as opposed to just Chesed. It's not Chesed. Chesed is always something kind of extra, and this is not extra. This becomes the Chosid. For the Chosid, so to speak, the extra becomes the minimum, right? The extra becomes the minimum, and that's where I feel like perhaps that's where Do I fully? So that was that's the way I think we understood it last time. Okay, I'm not sure I still fully. Do I fully? If you ask me tomorrow when I'm a little less into it, ask me, is that really the case? I'm not sure if I'll be able to still agree with it. Meaning, at the end of the day, the way I perceive Yira is a distance. Yira is distance, right? When I fear something, I move kind of away from it. right? Ahava is closeness. When I love something, I come closer to it, right? Kavod is that in between. I'm not, it's harder, Hidur mitzvah. It's hard for me to imagine. Not for me to really qualify it as a yira, and not see it. Meaning we understand that it has elements of both. The question is which is the shorish, right? Which is the root? It's hard for me to see the root as being yira as opposed to ahava. Fine. Okay, let's move on. So now he says ubechlal hayira. So now he's another aspect of kavod. Ubechlal hayira oid kavod haTorah v'lamdeha. There's also the honor for Torah and lemdeha, and those that learn it. Kavod haTorah v'lamdeha. Ubehedya shaninu, and we explicitly learned kol hamechabed es haTorah, somebody who's mechabed the Torah, gufay mechubed al abriyas. Right, so that's Mirish and Pirkei. Somebody who's mekabed, somebody who respects the Torah, his body is also honored by the Briyas. Okay. Again, we understood already. Again, I'm just speaking out again. We understand that Chasidus always takes something that is applicable to every person and then extends it, right? So Kol Mekabed Es HaTorah, is that an experience of Chasidus? No, it's an experience of every Jew. Every Jew is obligated to be Mekabed the Torah, right? So why is he bringing this? Is this proof, or is this just the beginning of a conversation? I'm not sure about that point. Meaning, do I see in this? Meaning, Koved. So what I'm thinking is like this: there's an idea called Koved, right? There's an idea called Tefillin. Tefillin. You put it on, I put it on, you put it on, the Adar puts on. It's the same mitzvah, the same tefillin, the same thing. So where is the Chasid's individuality in that mitzvah? Right? So the individuality could be oifen ha'asiyah, how I'm going to do, if I'm trembling, as soon as I put on tefillin, you see that guy's a Chasid, right? Let's say. What about, now over here, that's what I'm saying, in Kavod, he's not talking about any longer in oifen ha'asiyah. He's also talking about asiyah in general, right? So, but they're different. So there are certain mitzvahs where the asiyah, by definition, is a spectrum, right? Let's say Kavod Shabbos, right? Why is he talking about Kavod Shabbos? Because Kavod Shabbos, you could have two people trying to fulfill the same mitzvah of Kavod Shabbos, but one will be really fulfilling it, and the other one will be sort of fulfilling it, right? Because kavod is what's the word? Is that type of a mitzvah that could be individually defined, right? Mashing tefillin is halachas. You open Shulchan Aruch, it says clearly what you're supposed to do. So where does your individualism, so to speak, come in? In oifen ha'asiyah, to see how much yira and ahava you have while you're performing the mitzvah. While kavod, by definition, it's a type of mitzvah that can be, stretchy. Right? Same thing kavod haTorah v'lamdeha. So kol hamechabed es haTorah gufay mechubed al abriyas just says that there is at least at the very least what it says is that there is a obligation for everybody to be mechabed es haTorah. Okay, that's true. That's the beginning of every Chasidus. Every Chasidus begins with something that's equally applicable to everybody. Now Chasid asks, okay, how far can I take this? And then he takes it to the furthest extreme. Okay, so that's what I think in the basic. Maybe there's more to it with gufay mechubed. I was thinking maybe because it's the body, and I don't know. Just on a simple level, all it's saying is yes, there is a responsibility to be mechabed haTorah that's applicable to everybody. But since kavod is a stretchy concept, then a chassid uses it as a jump start to other things. Okay, and our sages said, Omer Rabbi Yochanan. And Rabbi Yochanan says, how come Achav, one of the most wicked kings in Israel, how come was he zoicha to 22 years of kingship, because he was mechabed the Torah, shenitna b'chav beis oises, that he was mechabed the Torah that was given with 22 letters. So mida keneged mida, since he gave honor to the Torah that was given with 22 letters, so too he was zoicha to rule for 22 years. Okay? Shenemar, what's his proof? His proof is Vayishlach Malachim El Achav. This is a story over here they bring down. This is one of the attacks of Ben Hadad, King Aram, against Achav. And Achav was so weak that he basically surrendered to Ben Hadad before he even showed up. Right? So then there's a I'm just going to read because the Mesilas Yesharim, the Ramchal brings like 3 words in the pasuk, right? But there's a whole conversation here that they bring in the Art Scroll. Vayishlach malachim el Achav. He sent malachim to Achav, and he Ben Hadad sent messenger to Achav, king of Israel, into the city, and said to him, thus says Ben Hadad, your silver and your gold are mine, and your best women and children are mine. The king of Israel replied, saying, just as you say, my lord, the king, I and all I own are yours. Right? So that's in surrender. You're right. Whatever you want here belongs to you. At this point, I surrender to you. The messengers then returned to Achav again. Second message. At this time, tomorrow, I shall send my servants to you, and they will search your house and the houses of your servants, and it shall be that everything precious in your eyes they will place in their hands and take away. Okay? So the second message that we're going to take away everything precious. Okay, but we already agreed you're going to take away everything precious. So what are you telling me again? You're going to take away everything precious. So, and then to that, Achav responded, and again, this is V'hadover hazeh lo yuchal la'asos. And that Achav, to the second message, Achav responded, this matter I cannot do. So the conversation seemed to be missing something. There's a first request. He said, I give you whatever you want. There's a second request for everything precious. Oh, no, I can't do it. So what was the everything precious, right? So the Chazal Darshan, the everything precious is that Sifrei Torah. That he requested Sifrei Torah, and Achav said that I'm not giving you, right? Women, children, whatever, sure. Okay, Sifrei Torah, no way. This is where I draw the line. Okay, and so then there was he gathered his army, and there was a miraculous victory of Achav's army to repel that onslaught with Ben Hadad, right? Okay, so that's the episode. So since he was mechabed the Sifrei Torah, right, which were written in Chav Beis Oisiyos, so too Mili connected me that he was zoichet to Malchus, sorry, of Chav Beis Oisiyos. Okay, so what do we see from here? What do we see from here? So, and besides that the episode is very hard, which maybe we'll get to that. I don't know if I have anything to say about that, but just on the basic mathematics, what we see something interesting, and going back to our old question: can a sinner be a chassid? Right. This is what we brought up. Right. Achav is no tzaddik whatsoever. Right. What?
No, I was talking about saying like that's Jewish king, two kingdom, the one king of Judah came to him, and it meet by him. That's how come it meet by him, like his adulterer. So he's saying that in those cases that his sorrow was so big that he didn't do it despite. He just felt his sorrow. So he wasn't like doing it because he was a wicked person. He was doing it because he was a weak person. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't. That's how the other guy was allowed to meet with him. Mm-hmm. So that was his plan.
Okay. I mean, Achav is supposed to be the first. Yeah, I think he was a Jewish king that we have a depiction of. Oh. Supposedly, there's some kind of a stela, some kind of like a stone with different pictures on it. Mm-hmm. And I think they theorize that one of the pictures is Achav bowing down to some Babylonian king. I think maybe I'm making it up. Maybe I'm mixing up. Maybe it was Yehu. I don't know. Maybe I'm making a mistake.
But I think to the question of whether Rasha could be a tzaddik, there's got to be more of a...
Rasha could be a chassid.
Oh, sorry.
can't be a tzaddik. He just jumps straight to
Right,
Chasidus.
Yeah, but
I mean,
he's not.
there's gotta
He's not
be
a chassid, right? There's no question that he's not a chassid. So what's the question? The question is,
Well,
I
when it comes to
think
Torah, apparently
there's
he is
more.
chassid.
There's different dimensions to this, right? You see chassid in everyday level, whereas he's only the super shchita, and then like he drugs and
of course not.
Right, but could it be that when it comes down to getting a bullet in the head and not giving up the Sefer Torah, and in those kind of circumstances, when everything is else stripped apart, the true essence that something that is, at the very in the DNA on a basic level, like the scream of his soul, at that point. I mean that could be some Chasidus there. I'm not converting. I'm not giving up this 20
Right.
years.
Is that Chasidus? Or is that
Yeah, but
meaning
I mean, not just giving up. I mean, given a certain stressful
right?
situation.
yeah, but last time we tried to decide, is it possible to be chassid in one thing?
Right. That was the question, right?
Yeah, so I think we decided that it's possible.
Did we?
I think so.
I wasn't
Is there
sure.
so many examples that the
There are many examples of somebody doing extra, like Esav, and,
yeah.
right? Esav was a chassid in Kibbutz, right?
Yep.
And he got lots of. So I'm not sure if that's called Chasidus, really. Meaning, I don't know. Meaning, of course.
Yeah, that's fair. Just by calling one thing, it doesn't.
Meaning, right? We definitely can have an expression of. What's the word? I don't know. Expression of love towards something, and an expression of weakness towards something else. Does that make us a chassid? No, it just makes us. I don't know exactly what it makes us. It makes us whatever. I'm not sure exactly. Again, I'm not sure exactly that's Chasidus, but it means that because I'm not looking. I'm not sure. Okay. Anyway, so clearly, Achav and again, Rav Chatzkel Sarna says like this. He says, "What's the 22 letters? Right? What's the 22 letters for 22 years? What exactly is that? It's like nice. Oh, he saved Sefer Torah, so we gave him 20. It was made with 22 letters, so we give him 22 years. It's like cute little math trick. So he was saying really that that Yocheved Torah has to be. That's the point. That what we're being taught here is that Yocheved Torah is not to the totality of the Torah. It's really to every letter of the Torah, right? Because every letter of the Torah is one letter of the Torah is possible. The whole Sefer Torah is possible, right? Every letter of the Torah, extra vav here, extra right, teaches us millions of ideas, right? So the point of Kavod Torah is that really it's supposed to be for each and every letter, right? The way you learn shouldn't be coming in just like person who has Kavod Torah is mechabed every letter. So clearly, Achav had this maybe connects to what you were saying before, is that Achav had this contradiction. On one hand, did he have Kavod Torah? Possibly he had like amazing Kavod Torah for every letter. That didn't stop him from being Avodah Zarah, or killing or whatever else he did. That's number one. Number two, he says. Number two is a good point, but it's not negative shot. Anyways, let's move on. If a person was traveling, right, he shouldn't put the Sefer Torah in a bag. He shouldn't put it on a donkey and ride on it. He has to hold it, right? Furthermore, they they forbid you sitting on a bread that Sefer Torah is lying on it. And they also said, Ein Zerkin Kisvei HaKodesh. You can't throw out Kisvei HaKodesh, V'afilu Haloches, V'agodes. Again, so I'm not sure what he's trying to do over here. Again, I'm not really understanding why he's bringing us all of these halachas. What do we see from them? That the halachas that have to do with cover the Torah, okay? I mean, one thing is clear is that he's showing you that cover the Torah. Sometimes I may make this mistake, but sometimes I say in school when I see people, when people were so trained, something happens to the sefer, we're like, like this. But to sit and what's the word? Not learn or b'mevatel or like b'mevazel, to mistreat it, so to speak, with our approach towards it. Okay, that's okay. That's no problem. The book itself. So sometimes to make a point, who cares about the book? The book is nothing. It's the content of the book, that matters, right? It's try to appreciate it, right? But on the other hand, these halachas are telling you that. But again, it's supposed to be even, not only to the content, but even to this inanimate object. Just it's nothing. It's nothing. It happens to be just some letters were written on it. But even the letters, so to speak, they are sanctifying the thing itself. So certainly, Allah has come v'kama that a person who learns Torah, right, and the content itself is really what we're that even to such a degree, right? It's just our unfortunate mind is to make the ikar tofel and the tofel ikar, but our lesson is supposed to be that even this, right? As Rebbe Cont had a good line after he said something with that. It wasn't joking. It wasn't criticizing. He was saying how we made our learning into davening and our davening into gibberish. Meaning like a daf yomi is you daven through the daf, and our davening is just anyways. Okay, moving on. The Osro, and they even forbid la'aniach neviim uksuvim al gabi chamashim. Right? Every kid